The class that I'm talking about today is TechNest 1, the Introduction to Computer Programming, which is CIS106. The most important thing about this is that there is absolutely no programming experience required, and in fact, it's totally okay if you already know how to program and you want to relearn how to program, but the assumption is that you know nothing about computer programming. What the class is all about is it is all about how to think computationally, how to think the way that computers think, how to think the way that computer scientists think, to understand really what are the step-by-step requirements in order to build and do a computer program. And so like I said, it is a beginning Python course, so it's talking about the beginning. But the important thing for this is that, again, if you've never ever programmed before, this is the class that you want to take. And like I said, even if you have programmed before, this might be the class that you want to take, especially if you took a computer science class and you kind of sort of got it, but not really. This is the class that you want to take, because I guarantee you, you will get it at the end. And one of the reasons that I guarantee that you will get it at the end is that my background is obviously in computer science as well, because I am a computer scientist, but my undergraduate degree is in theater. So clearly I am, a computer scientist. I happen to be a theater major who really loved computer programming. I wrote my first program when I was like 8. So I love computers. I love technology. I love writing programs. I love, doing, computery stuff. I carry my cell phone on my hip pocket. I am a computer geek. However, I also am a theater major, which means I know how to speak ordinary human speak. What I like to tell people is I am a geek to human translator. And so one of the problems that I have with most computer programming classes is that they tend to be taught by computer scientists who really love math and really love science. And I mean, I get it. That's the way that, people tend to teach the way that they assume that everybody loves the same things that they love. And that's why, and I get it. I understand it. But I also understand, the ordinary human-y stuff. And so if there is something that we talk about that doesn't make sense, and almost always when what we do in the CIS 106 class is that MIT produces the lectures from the professor from MIT. And what we do is we watch the lectures from MIT, and I stop it like every 3 minutes or so. And I say, okay, here's what he said. This is what he really meant. This is what is really going on. Because it's been my experience that what is clear and obvious to a mathematician may or may not be clear and obvious to, an art major. That's where I think I'm pretty good at. So that's what we're doing in the CIS 106 class. For 106, we are offering 2 sections of 106 this coming semester. The first section is going to be meeting right here. Well, not right here, it's over in the tech lab, but in this building on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's Wednesday evenings, 6 till 9, and Saturday mornings, 10 till 1. And then we are on the main campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 a.m. till noon. Now, the thing is that I record every section. So I record either the Wednesday evening or the Tuesday morning, and then I record either the Saturday morning or the Thursday morning section. So if a particular week happens to come around and you're not able to come to class, don't worry about it. you can watch it online, because I publish it and allow everybody to watch it whenever. Similarly, in my case, because I happen to be teaching both sections, and I happen to be teaching the exact same things on both sections, if you are officially on the Wednesday, Saturday, and a particular week happens and you can't come on Wednesday, but you are able to come on Tuesday, come to Tuesday. Or alternatively, if you're on the Tuesday, Thursday, and a particular week happens and you can't come on Thursday, come on Saturday. And if you just can't get enough of it, I would be fine if you come on Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Saturdays and Thursdays. You know, if you just can't get enough of it. Plus, you can then watch it, you know, over and over and over again at home and whatever, because it'll be recorded, and you can watch the you can hear the same stupid jokes over and over and over again. So that is the key thing that I wanted to say about that. We'll talk about it in a little bit, also about how you actually enroll. I don't think I do that on here yet. How you actually enroll in the class. The way that you enroll in CIS 106 and 107 and 108 is that we have this little assessment that I want you to fill out. It's the bit.ly link that I had on the first slide. It really is, it should take you no more than 5 minutes to fill it out. The most important questions on there is, what is your name? And what is your student ID number? And are you currently a student? Those are the most important questions. The other most important question is, which section do you want us to enroll you in? Because that is how you actually enroll. The way you actually enroll is by filling out the assessment form. And then we have some questions. And the questions should be, if you already know how to program, they should be super easy, and you should be able to just go boom, 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 boom. Here are the answers, done. If you have never programmed before, the correct answer is, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, and I don't know. If you already know all of the answers, then one of the things I'm going to ask you is, are you sure you want to do 106? Because it seems to me you probably already know this. You might want to go into 107 or 108 instead. At which you might say, well, yes, I know this, but I really want to review it and all that. Fine, great. That's totally fine. But the 100% correct answers are, I don't know. So I don't want you to panic or worry or anything even remotely close to worry about the assessment. It is the simplest, easiest test that you'll ever take. Any questions before I hand it off to Sanjay? Yeah.
I saw online it was Python or 106. Am I right?
Correct. Yeah. Python is what we cover in 106. Yes.
Okay.
So basically, let me be more precise. CIS 106 is all about computer programming in general, and how to think computationally, and how to think like a computer scientist. And we happen to be using Python as our programming language. But I would say the more important focus on it is less the specific Python syntax, although I absolutely am going to teach you the Python syntax. It's more about thinking and understanding what you need to be doing. And one of the reasons that I really prefer this approach to teaching computer science is that today Python is all the rage. And one of the reasons that Python is all the rage is because it's extremely versatile. Python can be used in data science. Python can be used in computer graphics. Python can be used in web design. Python can be used to build computer games. Python is used for everything. If you wanted to be a web programmer, I would argue PHP is a better choice. if you wanted to be you want to work on, I don't know, video games, I would say probably C++ is a better choice. But that doesn't mean that Python can't do those. They can. It's just that those would be probably a more specifically. So one of the things that's great about Python is that it's used in everything. And that's the way it is right now. That's why it's so popular, is because it's used pretty much for everything. It's, I would argue, if not the best, the second best on pretty much everything. But 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, it will probably be some other programming language that will be the most important and bestest programming language that everybody should be learning how to do. And so I think it's less important to know the specific syntax of how to do it specifically in this particular programming language, and more important to understand the overall concepts and how to think computationally. Because if you understand how to do it in Python, you pretty much know how to do it in Java. And you pretty much know how to do it in C++. And you pretty much know how to do it in PHP. Now, there are obviously differences, but it's one of those things that if you know how to do it in one, you pretty much know how to do it, or at least it's relatively easy to learn how to do it in the others. And so that's why I focus in the CIS106 class primarily on the computational thinking aspects of programming, and I also talk about how to do it with Python. So it is a Python class, but it's more about how to think computationally. Is that clear? Yeah.
Why Python is developed?
Why was Python developed? So one of the reasons that Python was developed was because the guy who invented Python, one of the things that he noticed was that in most other programming languages, like, for example, C, it doesn't use human-y sounding words. So, for example, in Python, to print, you use the command, well, print. In C++, to print, you do cout, and then a curly, which, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense because you're outputting, and so, okay, it kind of makes sense, but print is a better word. And so it's not human sound, it's definitely not human English type things, but it's closer to human English than I would say most other programming languages are. And actually there are some, newer programming languages that are being developed that are even more human-y sounding. So that's why I'm saying it's entirely possible that 5-10 years from now we might not be teaching Python, we might be teaching something else, but it will still probably be CIS106 and it'll still be computational thinking because that's really what's the most important part. Other questions about 106? Yeah. Oh, it's 18 weeks. So we start the week before the regular semester starts, and we go to just beyond the regular semester ends. So it starts on January. So the CIS106 is going to start. The Wednesday, Saturday section will start on the Saturday after Martin Luther King Day, which is like the 20-ish, 23rd? Sure, 23rd. And the Tuesday, Thursday section will start on the Thursday, so if it was the 23rd, it must be the 21. Whatever the Thursday is after Martin Luther King Day is when CIS106 will start.
So we have actually I went online and they didn't have a Python in the evening. So all the classes are in the morning specifically for Python programming, not for 106.
Not true.
To be
Python programming is Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings. as well as Tuesdays and Thursday mornings.
Not 106.
You're talking about 24C. 24C is a completely different class.
Okay, but
They cover a lot of the same material. 24C and 106 cover about 90% of the same material. It's just from a different perspective. So 24C is all about learning Python specific syntax. And we happen to also talk about computational thinking in 24C. In 106, it's all about computational thinking, and we happen to also be talking about Python. So it depends on what the focus is. 106 is primarily about computational thinking. 24C is primarily about the syntax. Which again doesn't mean that we don't talk about both and both, because we do talk about both and both. Other questions about 106? Yeah.
So what is the main use of Python?
Everything. The main use of Python is everything that you do in computer programming. There is nothing that you can't do with Python, really. I would say that one of the largest uses of it right now is indeed data science. But another useful one is, again, playing around with gadgets and stuff with Internet of Things. Another use of it is developing web stuff. But so I mean, you can use Python to do everything. Yeah.
Can you develop EDA tools using Python?
Can you develop
EDA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You mean EDA is exploratory data analysis, or what do you mean by EDA?
No. Let's say design automation tools. So let's say you have some hardware,
Right.
electronic hardware, and you do simulate everything.
Yeah,
You
you
can
can
do that,
absolutely do that using
Yeah, so
Python.
Python usually is supported in Raspberry Pi and supported in Angstrom, no matter which low-level device you pick. You have Python compilers for that. Should be fine.
All right. So with that, I think I'm going to pass it off to Sanjay, who is